I'm in. Guys, we're gonna sell the horses today. I think we'll keep 2 of them back, but we'll sell the rest, and then we'll use the money to buy the breeding pen and then some other stuff. I don't know how much the breeding pen is. Let me see. How much is it? Oh, it's only 74k. That's not as bad as I was thinking. I was thinking it was like 100, 150. We're gonna get like 400k from these horses. Or possibly a little less because we're keeping 2 of them. But still, you know, we get plenty. What is our crops like? The oats are in. Oh, hello. Hello, synchronizing data with other players that doesn't let me even look at the menu, apparently. All gameplay must stop when someone joins. Period. No gameplay allowed. By the way, I should let everybody know that there was a storm going on around my place today. I don't think anything's gonna happen, but if I disappear or the stream stops, or for Lost Oak and Craig, if you suddenly crash and get disconnected, my power probably went out. So the oats are in, but the what is this? What are we doing? Is it soybeans? Are we doing soybeans over there? I think we are. Soybeans are still growing. Oh, I guess we need to. Someone's breathing into their mic. I guess we need to ride horses, don't we? Actually, we need to skip the day. I really should have probably skipped the day before. What were we doing? I don't even remember what we were doing last week at the end. You guys know? I've been the only one to talk this entire stream so far. We've been on for like 5 minutes. And I've been the only one to talk. How are you guys doing?
Because you were talking at great length without pause.
I'm not, though. I'm pausing. You guys can interrupt me. You guys can say something. You guys can respond to what I'm saying. That's how conversation works.
You were saying.
I was mostly saying I don't remember what we were doing, but I'm going ahead and skipping time so we can get to 7 o'clock so we can skip the night, and then we can ride more horses, and then it's either this next day or the day after. So it's either tomorrow or the day after tomorrow when I think they'll be at their max value. Craig.
What?
Did you hear that Orville finally finished filming?
No.
Well, you're hearing it now. They're done filming. Still no date as to when it's coming out, but they're done filming. So
Yeah, the start of the stream was an incredibly unbroken sentence moving from topic to topic. No one had a chance to interrupt. It was quite hypnotic.
Did you know? Maybe
What?
you probably did. The Orville episodes are going to be long. They're going to be long episodes. There's 10 of them, and they're all going to be between 60 and 80 full minutes. And that's not with commercials. That's without commercials.
Cool. It's still going to be a while before it comes out, though. So.
Yeah, probably not until like January or February at least. All right, it's horse time. I'm gonna go ride horses.
I don't like to get excited this far ahead.
You like to wait until the main event?
I like to just find out that it's out.
Well, you're finding out from me that it's gonna be out. So how about that?
That is suboptimal.
I wish horses had some kind of like horn function.
They
Like
do.
not like literally a horn, but I mean like if I could press a button and have them like neigh or something, that would be fun.
They're not machines, Merg.
Why not? Craig, this entire farm is just a simulation. They could be machines if we wanted them to be.
Our real lives are just a simulation.
That's what I mean. This farm is our real life, but it's just a simulation.
That's it. Did I tell you I invented a terrible, cheap American form of ramen?
No. Do tell.
You make instant mac and cheese. But if you want ramen noodles, you can use Maruchan yakisoba instead.
Okay, so it's the yakisoba noodles, but with the
Maruchan
powder
cheese.
powder
yakisoba.
or whatever. Because they usually come with powder, right? It's like powdered cheese. You put it in and mix it up.
Yeah, you make the mac and cheese as normal, or the cheese yakisoba, and then you pour tomato soup in it.
What the fuck?
And
Is
you
this
and you add basil.
is this the boxed mac and cheese, or are you talking about the like little individual like cups that you can get?
I'm talking about the instant mac and cheese that you can just put water in and stir and microwave.
Yeah, they're in like a little cup, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You said cheap, but the moment you started talking about mac and cheese, I'm like, mac and cheese isn't as cheap as like a package of ramen.
if you get the really cheap mac and cheese in a box and you boil it and everything, it's fairly
Mac and
cheap.
cheese in a box is cheaper than the individual cup mac and cheeses.
Yeah. Although instant ramen is much cheaper than instant mac and cheese, that's true.
True.
But if you mean cheap as in quality, okay, continue.
Well, it's still cheap. Relatively. It's just not cheap in comparison to
What's
instant ramen.
what's the breakdown of the cost calorie ratio?
I think I count calories.
Lay it all out for us, Craig. Make us a chart, please. Make us a visual aid. Go all in on the market research on this new product that you potentially created, so that we can actually market it and sell it.
You know, selling it requires that we have to grow crops, right?
We are growing crops. We're growing
Are
oats
we?
and soybeans, and I'm pretty sure you can make some kind of noodles out of the soybeans. Press them in.
I'm sure you could turn it into a noodle. It's not gonna. I don't think it'd be very good though.
No, but then again, not all noodles are all that great.
The only chance you could sell that as a product is if you did some heavy marketing of it as like a health food, a trendy
Yeah, it
health
would.
food.
Yeah, it would be marketed as like a Japanese, new age Japanese like health food. We get the new age peeps in on this.
We would call it Asian American fusion.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. With the current world climate, I don't think you want to be American fused with anything.
Yeah, we'd probably be accused of racism. like a week after launch.
We'd be accused of cultural appropriation for daring to use Asian noodles in our American dish.
Even if it's actually mac and cheese in it.
Yeah.
Mac and cheese is traditionally an Italian dish. Look it up.
It's true.
I honestly don't know the origins of macaroni and cheese.
I'm sure the noodles are Italian, but mac and cheese is a very American thing.
Aren't noodles originally Chinese?
Probably.
Like didn't like wasn't Italian cuisine before the introduction of noodles from China fairly different? Like didn't really have any noodles in it?
Yeah. They also didn't have tomatoes.
Yeah. I mean, ketchup is Chinese too, so
Ketchup
in
or
origin.
catsup?
They're the same goddamn thing. They made it with
Ketchup or
fish.
catsup?
They made it with fish in China, like fish oil and shit. Like I don't think
You
that I
with
would
fish.
like that. Ketchup, ketchup, ketchup,
He's talking about the ketchup again.
ketchup.
I was watching a video earlier and I didn't really expect a Simpsons reference that old out of the blue.
All of the good Simpsons references are old because all of the good Simpsons episodes are old. It is an unfortunate fact.
Yeah.
You know, I hear people saying that like the latest seasons now are pretty decent, but part of me believes that that's some kind of weird Stockholm syndrome from people who have forced themselves to watch through the years instead of just stopping when they should have stopped.
You know, FX sometimes does a Simpsons marathon, and even the week dedicated to it, I don't think you can actually get through all the episodes of The Simpsons.
It's been on for like, what is it, like 35 years now? It's been on a long ass time. What is it, 89, I think? I guess, you know, about 30 years. 30 and change. Like 88 or 89, I think, is when it started.
It started on the Carol Burnett show?
Tracy Ullman show.
Tracy Ullman.
Something else started on the Carol Burnett show, and I don't remember what. It wasn't The Simpsons, obviously. I read a factoid today that I might have known. And I don't know how true it is, because it's just something I read on the internet. Milhouse, the character, was originally made specifically for the Butterfinger commercials and Butterfinger marketing to be Bart's friend. And then they incorporated him into the show. I have no idea if it's true.
What, always asking, "Hey Bart, can I have a bite of your Butterfinger?"
Nobody better lay a finger. Better not fucking touch my Butterfinger, you son of a bitch.
You don't even like Butterfingers.
I don't. I have a whole bag of them. I actually don't. I actually had never had a Butterfinger before that. And I thought, well, it should be fine, right? It's just a candy bar. It's trash food, certainly, but I'm sure it's fine. And then I had one, and I was like,
You dislike it because it, like, cements itself to your teeth?
That's part of it. I think that is part of it. It's that it cements itself to my teeth, and it's also crunchy. It's like the combination.
Yeah.
If it was just one or the other, I would probably like it more. But it's both, and that, like, I don't know, it feels weird.
I don't like that about it, but I do like Butterfinger. It's especially good ground up as an ice cream topping.
I could see that, yeah. I could actually see me liking it better as something else, like ground up or whatever. I still have not actually claimed that minion. That mount. It might actually be too late now. It pissed me off too much. It pissed me off too much because they made it single character instead of account wide. It makes no sense. It makes no goddamn sense at all.
Well, blame the developers. They don't understand the concept of alts.
I do blame them. I specifically blame them. I do not blame Butterfinger. I specifically blame Yoshida himself.
No, don't blame Yoshida. He's our grandpa. Blame.
I do though. Yoshida has no concept of the word
like
alts.
Everybody else does.
No, I'm not gonna blame Koji. Koji doesn't have any input in that. Koji's just a lore and localization guy.
He's the pun man.
I blame Yoshida because I think it's been shown multiple times that Yoshida has absolutely no concept about like what an alt is or why people would play more than one character. I'm done already.
Which is weird because he technically has 2 different characters.
Well, he only really plays the one, right? Why not?
The Lalafell is the one he shows off stuff to, and then there's the other that is just actually him.
Why can I not ride these horses?
So do you guys like the
I'm like
components
bugged.
of cheese tomato ramen?
No, I don't.
You know, what don't you like? What components don't you like?
I'm not a huge fan of tomato soup.
Have you had tomato basil soup?
There we go. No. I have not. Tomato soup, I used to have it.
Better. Tomato soup is very bland if it's just...
It's not
like,
the blandness. I actually do kind of not really like the flavor, which is odd because tomatoes themselves are fine. I've actually eaten just like a friggin' raw like tomato, just bit into it like an apple, and I've enjoyed it. And I love tomato sauce, like on pizzas or spaghetti or various pastas. But tomato soup, I'm just kind of not into. I will have tomato soup with grilled cheese when I was a kid, but now
You're supposed to have it with a grilled cheese sandwich. That's the rule.
But nowadays I don't. Like when I have a grilled cheese sandwich, I don't really want any tomato soup. I'll just have the grilled cheese. You're breathing pretty hard into the mic again, Craig.
I think that's my fan.
Oh.
Yeah, as I say, it sounds more like a fan thing.
Anyway, there's really good tomato basil soup that has chunks of tomato in it, and basil changes the flavor a lot. It's really good. But I wouldn't be interested in just regular tomato soup unless it's accompanied with something like grilled cheese or something.
Do you do any kind of fancy grilled cheese, or you just slap some American cheese on a bread and grill it? I know some people do like fancy crap with it, but I don't know.
No, I don't do anything fancy.
I don't want to do anything fancy
Well,
with my grilled
typically
cheese.
the more exotic the cheese, the consistency in which it melts, or if at all, changes.
I feel like the whole point of a grilled cheese sandwich is that it's super simple and quick to make, and if you start getting fancy with it, it kind of starts defeating the purpose.
I've had
might as well
fancy
have something
grilled
else.
cheese at restaurants, and often it's not anything good. But there have been instances where it's really good. Usually it's not a fancy cheese, but more like they make the bread fancier and add ingredients like tomato slices or bacon or something.
Now, bacon I will happily accept. Although I would be more accepting of bacon bits on a grilled cheese sandwich. But bacon itself is fine.
Slices instead.
Ham is okay, especially if you make a grilled cheese with like Swiss cheese instead of American cheese. Put some ham on there. That's pretty good. But that's
I feel
not
like
really.
The moment you add something more than just the cheese necessary. It's not a grilled cheese anymore. It's a
Well, it's a
specific
grilled-
kind of sandwich.
It's a grilled ham and cheese, or it's a grilled... I would say a grilled cheese with bacon bits in it can still just be called a grilled cheese, but you might want to tell people that there's
You're
bacon
pushing
bits
it.
in it, but like that would be like the limit. Anything else, you'd have to call it something else.
It's still grilled cheese if you have tomato slices too.
I would never put tomato slices on a grilled cheese sandwich. I like tomato on like a burger or whatever. That's perfectly fine. But I don't know. Feels like it would be weird. I have a very complicated relationship with tomatoes apparently.
I
Apparently.
used to hate tomatoes because my dad would make me eat them when I was a kid.
See, I liked
As a
them when I was a
snack,
kid.
I would have tomato wedge slices and
I love
ranch.
those.
That was it.
I love that. I would have that.
It's like a salad, but everything except ranch and tomato.
Like I love those little like cherry tomatoes that you get in like restaurant salads. Those are great.
Yeah.
The one downside to tomatoes is the acidic content tends to kind of like wreak havoc on my mouth.
That's if you eat like too much, yeah.
Yeah,
But that's like
I'm not kidding. I can eat a lot of tomatoes to the point where it's like I physically should not eat anymore because then I'll just start causing damage to myself.
well, that's the same with like pineapple. Like pineapple will literally start like tenderizing your your tongue. Like if you eat too much pineapple, your tongue will literally just like start to actually hurt and be pained if you eat too much pineapple.
Man, I had so much pineapple juice when I went on a trip for my uncle's wedding to Hawaii.
Man, you went to Hawaii.
I did.
Is it nice?
I went to Hawaii at the end of 2019. So in December. Oh right, where'd he go?
Seems like Hawaii would be nice to visit, but not particularly nice to live there unless you're rich.
It's very congested and the property taxes are really high.
Yeah. So you need to be rich and have like a big property and
So
be able
close
to
with these
afford
horses.
the taxes. What?
We're so close with these horses.
Yeah.
Who left the harvester over here? Kyle probably. Definitely one more day. I mean, we could sell them now, but we you know, make like a few thousand less than we would otherwise. I'm gonna set the time to going fairly quickly again.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello? Hello?
I'm stowing away in Lost Chuck's tractor.
Oh, I see.
It's not very productive of you.
As far as I can see, you're not being very productive either.
It's not very cash money
I
of
don't know if
you.
you noticed, but I'm doing a transport job, like I have been. And unlike us, I can't just instantly transport the tractor there.
Good. Good if you tried hard enough. Have you tried
No,
hard
I
enough?
can't. Within the game's rule set, I cannot transport vehicles. Or teleport, rather.
Well,
Hack the game.
yeah, hack the game, goof. We are gonna have another tractor tomorrow for sure. As soon as we sell those horses, as we sell them to the glue factory. How are the horses and the chickens doing? I guess I could, like, take a look at the chickens and grab the eggs. We need more hay. Plus, Shoke, you're not using the, truck, right?
No.
I'm gonna use the truck. I'm gonna get some hay.
Supervising his work to make sure he doesn't give us a bad name.
Don't you have someone to run over?
Do we have any hay?
No, you're in a tractor.
Merg isn't.
We do.
He's the boss, though.
I am the boss. I have
and I
told
don't know.
someone to go do the what the shit just happened. Oh, I just ran over this log. I told
don't know
someone
who
to harvest. Yeah.
I don't know who would inherit the farm if you died.
It's a tough one. Probably giant nerd guy.
Well, I have no incentive to murder you then.
That giant nerd guy has every incentive to murder me.
But you have incentive to get your name on the will.
Running over Merg isn't going to help me do that.
No, that's the means to an end.
Why would
That's
him
the
running
last
me over?
step in the plan.
Yeah, why would him
I'm
running
not
me
going
over
step 2.
get him on my will? Explain this plan of yours to us, Lost Joke.
It's not my plan. I'm busy.
Maybe in Nevada they have a might makes right thing where if you kill your boss, you get their position.
Oh,
It's like a mirror universe state.
do we have agonizers as well?
Probably.
Where does this hay go? I have hay. Why can't I give the hay?
Can you rent some agonizers from the store?
I could. Yeah.
Is there a Star Trek mod for this game?
No. I think we're in the closest thing to a Star Trek mod because we have the aliens going around. I have to turn around. I gotta have to turn.
Well, the mod community has failed us then.
I mean, I'm gonna tell you what. The mod community
Change
has
you
also
want in the
failed
world.
us because there are no drug crop mods for this game either. I was
How is
fully
that even
expecting.
possible?
I was fully, yeah. I looked at the thing and I was fully expecting there to be drug mods, and it turns out there's no drug mods. There's mods
Maybe
for
the
like
company
a
that
lot of
makes
other
the
things.
game forces them off the workshop or something.
Maybe
What?
that
Someone
could
actually moderates something on Steam?
because I did get everything from like the
Sometimes.
official like mod page.
Sometimes being practically never.
Yeah, Crow. There's
Yeah.
there's aliens in this game. There's aliens specifically in this map. See him flying overhead every once in a while.
It's officially stuck on your fork.
No, it's not catching the ground. There's a specific way it needs to like sit on the ground for it to like grip. And it's really touchy.
All right, we're gonna have to go buy more hay, but that's fine. I'll do that. Actually, you know what? We're gonna do it now. Why not? I ain't doing nothing else. I don't have to check on the chickens yet. The chickens aren't in any danger of getting full yet. God, that fan is like like constant right now. Your fan, Craig. It's very loud.
I will.
You're very loud.
It's just like it's blowing into
It's
the
true.
mic. It's not like the sound of the actual like fan motor or anything. It's that like whatever air it's doing, it's like blowing into the mic, and so that's why it sounds like you're like breathing into it.
I hate that the noise cancellation is so good on almost everything, but then it's like, oh, air just being forced into the mic? That sounds like human speech.
Well, isn't human speech just air being forced into the mic?
That make the air sounds. Yes. That's from City Heroes. Yes. Get me hay. Spent a couple K on this. Spent 3,000 bucks for 10,000 hay. This will last us quite a while. This this trailer. Jesus. I'm not even going that fast.
Okay, it should be fixed.
Thank you. I hope that you don't get too hot.
I just made the fan quit oscillating so it points at me.
Oh. I hope you don't get too cold then. About 1,500 bucks worth of hay. I said this hay will last us for quite a while, and then I actually poured the rest of it into the horse pen, and turns out no, the hay is not going to last us that long. That's fine. The hay is just
you
an expense.
underestimate the amount of hay a horse can eat.
It's just an expense, you know. We gotta spend a few $1,000 on hay every few days, but then we'll get tons of money back.
So is Kyle coming tonight?
No idea. We'll have to see. See if he shows up.
It is a mystery.
Kyle is a mystery. He is a mystery wrapped in an enigma.
An Edward?
An Edward enigma. You know that he was voiced by John Glover in the animated series? You even know who John Glover is?
No.
Remind the class who John Glover is.
He's a fairly well-known and famous character actor. He does a lot of characters. He was in oh god, what was he in? He's in so many things. He was actually in a Batman movie, not as Edward Nygma. It was one of the bad ones. I can't remember if it was the one with Val Kilmer or George Clooney, but he was in one of those as like an evil scientist. He was in Smallville. He was Lex Luthor's dad in Smallville. He was in Gremlins 2 as the corporate dick guy, the head corporate guy.
You know, I'm gonna say something very controversial.
What?
I like the Joel Schumacher Batman.
Get off my farm, Lost Joke.
I'm gonna make it worse. I don't think they're as bad as people think.
I think they're pretty
I don't even
bad.
know what that is. Batman and Robin or something.
Batman
Both.
and Ramen, Batman Forever, and
Batman and Ramen. Those are the only two. Those are the only two he did.
Was it only 2? I
Yeah.
thought there was 3.
No. Tim Burton did the first one and Returns.
He did the first 2, technically.
Which one had Jim Carrey as the Riddler?
Batman Forever.
Was that Forever? Which one is that? Which? Because I always get those two movies like mixed up.
Batman Forever was the one that had Riddler and Two-Face.
Why did I do this? Now I understand what it's like to be you guys. Why did I do this?
What have you done?
I got the truck stuck. I just saw this hill and I was like, I'm gonna drive up it, and then midair I was like, oh my god, I regret everything. I was like, why? Why did I do this? Ah, shit.
Anyways, the Joel Schumacher Batmans, people tend to fixate on the you know, like the rubber nipples and like the campiness, but Batman's always been campy.
He was campy in the 60s. He was not always campy though. He was campy in the 60s, but Batman has been around since the 40s.
Joel Schumacher Batman films are more like the classic Silver Age Batman than current Batman.
I will agree with this, but at the time, Tim Burton had already well established, and the comics had already well established the 80s more serious, gritty Batman. And Joel Schumacher, I guess, decided that he would completely buck the trend and go with 60s Batman again, when nobody asked for that. I'm about to skip time, by the way. You guys better get out of your vehicles.
While I didn't mind Michael Keaton as Batman.
I like Michael Keaton.
Tim Burton's vision for Batman, I actually don't like. Considering that he's also never read a comic in his life, apparently he says.
In what way?
What do you mean, what way? What way what?
In what way do you not like
it?
Tim Burton's Batman? I'm not disagreeing with you. Tim Burton's Batman is not perfect. But in what way don't you like him?
I suppose thematically.
It's horse time again, by the way, Craig. Well, elaborate. Like, what do you mean?
Your face is horse time.
Well, considering that he really doesn't have any idea who or what Batman is, essentially.
I mean, he seemed pretty decent in the movie. I will say that Batman, especially in Batman Returns, there was a lot of criminal death as a direct result of Batman's actions in Batman Returns, particularly. That didn't really jive with the modern sensibility of Batman doesn't kill. But aside from that, like, I don't know, he seemed pretty Batman-y to me. So you're gonna have to elaborate even further. Explain thyself.
I don't think I can. I can't express my reasoning why I don't like Burton's Batman.
Why?
It'd be circular conversation. I can't explain it, and you asking me to explain that is just gonna be. I can't explain why I don't like Burton's Batman.
I don't remember a lot about that movie, but I kind of agree with Lost Joke.
Well, in what way?
And my
How about
reason
you
is that
explain?
it's too Burton-y.
I would say the first Batman movie was not too Burton-y. I will say that Batman Returns definitely ratcheted up the Burton-iness.
And the
Like, a lot.
aesthetic is too Burton-y for me.
Of course, I like some of Tim Burton's movies. I don't like all of them. Some of them, Tim Burton's definitely one of those guys you really need to keep on a leash, because if you let him do anything that he wants, he's one of those people who just takes it in crazy directions and makes something, like, less watchable because of it. But, like, I liked, I like Batman, and even though I know that it's flawed in terms of presenting the character, I like Batman Returns. I love Edward Scissorhands, especially when I was a kid. I love Beetlejuice. It's one of my favorite movies.
Funny enough, another Michael Keaton film.
It is.
Michael Keaton can play some really interesting characters if you let him.
I like Michael Keaton. He's a really good actor, I think. I think Michael Keaton is I would say he's an underrated actor. I know people use the word underrated a lot, but if you were to ask, like, a random person on the street what they think of Michael Keaton, they would just think, oh, he's fine or whatever. But I think Michael Keaton is a really good actor.
Looking back at Batman Forever, it seems like it's not a good movie, but I did enjoy it when I first saw it.
Well, yeah, but
And I
you were
was
like
probably a kid.
It was
yeah, so it was a good kids movie, I guess.
Yeah.
I feel like kids movie would be a very loose way to describe it.
It's a little violent for a kids movie. It's not that, not like an R-rated movie or anything, but it
like
is a little bit.
older kids movie,
Yeah.
I guess.
I mean, it is
I think
very,
it's a
very
PG
cartoony.
movie, isn't it?
What, Forever and Batman and Robin?
Yeah,
No, I'm pretty sure those are PG-13. I think the only PG movie Batman movie
PG
is
movies with tits in them.
That's true. Before PG-13 was a thing, but PG-13 was developed in developed in a lab. Was conjured in the mid '80s after I believe the two main movies that led to PG-13 being a thing were Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom and Gremlins. Those were like the two major impetuses toward PG-13 being a thing.
Did the tits move to the PG-13 movies though, or did they just go straight to R?
I think they moved those straight to R.
Their tits is like any quote unquote vulgar thing in which context matters. So I don't know if you remember that one South Park episode where they got away with saying the word shit like over 100 times because
that was
of the context.
Also, there was a slight lax in the FCC?
Yeah.
Whereas they were riffing on the fact that because there were some slight adjustments to the ruling for certain TV ratings, one popular show at the time, I'm forgetting what it was, got a lot of attention because they said shit, just flat out said it, and that became the hot topic at the time. So South Park obviously ripped on the fact that well, obviously being on satellite and cable, they have a little bit more freedom to do what they want.
They do,
so they were just kind of poking fun at that.
I mean, I remember.
What was the show that did it? Was it 24?
I don't know, but 24 wasn't the first show to say the word shit on network TV. The earliest I remember the word shit being used, and this is probably not even the first one either, it's just the first one that I remember, was in the show ER. When they were showing one of the main characters struggling with his brain cancer that was just making it just absolutely hard to live, and he exclaimed shit when he stumbled on basically nothing because he didn't have his sense of balance or whatever, and so that was I don't know if that was really a big deal at the time because it was a very dramatic scene. It wasn't just thrown in there for shits and giggles. But that's the earliest I remember, and that was very early 2000s, 2001, 2002 at the latest, I think. But anyway, what I was saying is context matters. And this is also, if you think about, they say that you can use the word fuck in a PG-13 movie a single time. But it's not just any single time. It also has context associated with it. You cannot use the word fuck to refer to sexual act. Like you cannot say I'm gonna fuck that person when literally talking about like sex in a PG-13 movie. You can say fuck as like an expletive, like if you're angry or whatever. You can say I'm gonna fuck you up or what the fuck or stuff like that, but you can't say like she and I are gonna fuck. That's like too racy for PG-13 no matter what. So in this case, there have absolutely been PG-13 movies with tits in them. But I think context matters because I think they'll be less likely to allow it if it's in a sexual context or like if they're shown during a sex scene or whatever. But if it's just I guess I don't remember the tits in that one. I don't have a database of.
It's when some chick needs CPR and they take her shirt off.
Yeah, well, exactly. So, like in that context, it's absolutely allowed because it's not like the focus. It might technically be gratuitous. Like, do they need to show her tits? But it's not really the focus, and it's not about sex. I think you do see a lot less nowadays because I don't know, sensitivities have definitely
more
changed.
Puritanical.
It's true. We're in like that cycle of being more puritanical than we used to be.
We're neo-puritanical, but the Puritans don't think they're Puritans.
But of course, even then, it's very subjective. Like, I don't know that there are any real hard rules that are like published anywhere or that are specifically known or written down about what is allowed in PG versus PG-13 versus R. I think it is entirely subjective, and basically the people, the ratings board, just decides based on their gut feeling, I guess.
A lot of times they have to submit the cut they want to release to the ratings board, and if they get a rating they don't like, then they have to cut it more.
Yeah.
So, this morning I was told that, where was it? I want to say it was Utah. There is a governor with the last name Cox, C-O-X.
Okay.
Apparently there's some constituents who are protesting him because they believe his last name is offensive and needs to be changed.
Okay.
They have written an open letter to him saying to do so, demanding that he do so, or else they will sit in protest outside the city building.
Yeah.
Pretty ridiculous.
Yes.
That's like how just recently some baseball fan was yelling at the some Colorado mascot called Dinger.
Dinger.
And I think you can imagine what the controversy was about that.
Yeah.
They didn't like his color.
They didn't like that his name reminds them of a bell.
No.
Maybe a bell end.
They didn't like that fan yelling Dinger sounded like a different word.
What other word? Like what specific other word?
Censorship and in fact make it worse.
What is these? What is the N word? Really?
Yeah, they thought he was yelling the N word, and there was a whole investigation about it.
I don't see the. I don't see the similarity. They're not really spelled the same. They don't sound the same.
People, it's context for the individual. People will hear, see, or any other way perception the way they will perceive it. And
it's also because he was shouting, and a microphone that was who knows how far away was picking up his shout. And
I mean, maybe
it's a word that ends in "er."
I mean, maybe. I could almost see that.
Not just I think it's the hard G-E-R.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. It's a little different though. Dinger is not. the same G sound.
No. It's a bit of a stretch, but I don't know. I could almost see it.
Nobody in the stadium who heard it thought he said that. It was just because of the poor audio recording
Well,
of it.
again, context matters. Like, if
Yeah.
you just heard someone yelling that out randomly on the street, you might be more inclined to think that he's using a bad word. Whereas if you're in a stadium full of fans and everyone knows that the mascot is named, shit. The mascot is named,
Mascot is not named shit.
yeah, sorry, I didn't realize that I had left the time on, and it's already like 8 o'clock at night, and we're not even done with the horses yet. If I had let that go on, we would have lost some value on some of them.
People are actually like saying the team has to change the mascot's name now.
People
That's the
have
incident.
less and less sense of the concept of context around words. Like,
I think
people
a lot
are
of people don't believe in context anymore.
Yeah. They don't believe it, or they just honestly don't know what the word means. They don't know what context is.
I'd believe it that people don't really understand what a word means. It seems very common that people will use a word and not know its definition.
Yeah.
You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Inconceivable.
Inconceivable!
You've fallen for one of the classic blunders. Or you've committed one of the classic blunders.
You've
First,
committed one of the
never
classic
commit a-
blunders! Yep.
Never commit a land war in Asia.
I haven't seen the movie in a while. Where's the new updated remake of Princess Bride? Why hasn't Hollywood done that yet?
I will be very
Don't
upset
give them
if they-
ideas. They're gonna do it. It's gonna be terrible.
I just read that.
Is Carrie Elwes still alive?
Yeah,
Yes.
they're
the
all
only
still
one
alive.
That's passed away is Andre.
Andre and Grandpa Columbo has passed away as well.
Does Carrie Elwes do anything anymore?
Yeah,
I
he
feel
still
like
acts.
he
He's
is
still
in
stuff.
something currently.
Yeah, he still does stuff. Mandy still does stuff.
I don't
Even
think they would bring
friggin-
back the old cast anyway. They would.
Sicilian
Like,
does stuff.
They would pull a
He's old. It's the
Ghostbuster.
hills.
They would pull a Ghostbusters
Well,
with the reboot.
you mean the 2016 Ghostbusters, right? Not
Yeah.
the newer one that's gonna come out.
Yeah, the newer one is looking like they might actually know how to do a reboot without shitting all over the original.
Yeah.
Well, Harold Ramis passed away before that that reboot,
Yeah.
and he was one of the core writers for it.
Yeah. But the new movie seems to be taking that into account in the story. Like, Egon is dead in the new one. And they're gonna, I don't know what but it's part of the story that Egon is
Apparently,
gone.
a lot of any Ghostbuster thing tends to like drag its feet because of Bill Murray.
Yeah. I love Bill Murray's movies, but Bill Murray himself is kind of a dick. The thing is, he's not even the kind of dick where it's like objectively okay to hate him. Like, he's not like a sex pest. He's not like, he's not like that kind of a dick. He's just kind of
your
a jerk.
regular. He's just your regular type of jerk, where it's like,
Yeah.
man, I hate him, but it's like he's not doing anything wrong. He's just an asshole.
Yeah. But I love his movies.
Yeah.
He's in good movies.
Did you know they made like a quote unquote sequel to Groundhog Day?
Did they? Holy Fuck.
Yes,
no.
it's a VR game,
Oh, I think I might have seen that.
and you play as Bill Murray's character's son, and you go back and you're caught in the Groundhog Day event.
You're caught in the Groundhog Day. That sounds like something that would be in a sequel.
It's really bizarre because they got God, what was the name of the character? The guy, the annoying salesman guy. They got him in it.
Ryerson.
I feel like they got most of the talent except for Bill Murray.
They get Andy McDowell.
Possibly.
They get
I didn't look into
Chris,
much of it. I was just kind
what's his
of
name?
in shock that they actually made an actual it's a sequel. You can count it as a sequel to
Yeah.
Groundhog Day.
I don't think anyone is counting that as a sequel, a real sequel to Groundhog Day. Although related, the Ghostbusters video game, the one that like had everybody in it.
Everybody except Sigourney Weaver and Harold
Yeah.
Ramis.
I thought he was
Which
in
is
it.
really unfortunate because apparently Sigourney Weaver would have definitely joined.
Yeah, she said that. She said she didn't know that everybody else was going in on it, and now she says she kind of regrets not joining in because she didn't know at the time that everybody else was doing it.
Patch that.
But that, I mean, that's real Ghostbusters 3. I wonder if the new movie is going to acknowledge any of the stuff that happened in that game.
I don't know if anyone would because the game you can kind of treat it as its own instance of Ghostbusterness because it was kind of like working off the first two films and kind of retreading most of the little nods to it. But no, I don't think they would acknowledge the game because it probably didn't get it's not broadly known like the films are.
Well, yeah, but in counter to that, there are still debates to this day as to whether or not the cartoon is actually canon with the movies.
That one's even weirder because there is an explanation as to why Egon just suddenly had blonde hair.
But there's also apparently there was a thing they said where they had like the Ecto 1A or whatever in the movies because they had the Ecto 2 in the cartoon. Like they changed something in the movies in direct response to something that was only in the cartoon. And so that's like the main impetus.
Egon had blonde hair.
Why did Egon have blonde hair?
He ate a fungus.
I mean, that does sound like something that Egon would do.
So the side effect was it turned his hair white.
I wonder why they actually gave him blonde hair in that. Like, what was the actual reason?
They wanted all four of the characters to kind of be visually distinct from each other and not have like a Ninja Turtles thing.
I mean, he already has his like distinctive hairstyle in that, though. They could have just gone with that.
It's animation. They want to like push it further and also like I don't know. I don't know if we can really say they wanted to sell toys. Toys were certainly a thing, but I don't know if that was the goal.
Nobody ever wants to push animation further when it comes to like kids shows like that. They always want to do things the cheapest way possible. I mean, that's how the industry works in general. Like, yes, you do have animated films that want to push the envelope and do interesting things, but when you're talking about like kids shows, especially a movie tie-in kids show, nobody on that production run wanted to push the envelope as far as making the animation better or whatever. At least nobody in the executive booth, as it were.
Executives, what do they even do?